Hello everybody, welcome to this video where we are discussing about congestion control algorithm. So we know that congestion occurs in a network, and because congestion occurs, we have to take care that the performance is not degraded. Okay, so to do that, we have to find an efficient allocation of bandwidth to all transport entities who are using the network. Okay, so that whenever we see that there is a congestion, then we can control the sending rate of the transport entities so that they can slow down and relieve the congestion from happening. So in order to do that, we need a fair and efficient allocation of bandwidth. And we had seen that as the load increases, okay, and reaches as it reaches the capacity, okay, after some point, initially the delay is constant. After some time, the delay also increases, and the good put decreases, and both these are drastic changes. So we would like to have an efficient bandwidth allocation, or an efficient load would be the one which stops when the delay starts rising or the good put stops flowing or stops going down. Okay, so that is at the onset of congestion itself, we should be able to find it. So what we're doing is we are trying out different rates. So initially we start with a load of 0, then we increase, then we wait and we check if there is any congestion, then we increase the load again, then we check to see if the delay is going up, then again we increase. So it goes up and goes the changes in this manner, but then this cannot go on slowly till you reach an optimum. So suppose it comes to some optimal value x. So x is the optimal load, okay, which can be used so that there is no congestion or there is reduced congestion. Okay, now you need a solution that your congestion control algorithm should reach this solution fast. Okay, so convergence is very important. So now also another thing to be considered here is that this bandwidth allocation that we are doing will also change over time, because connections will come and connections will go. Okay, as you can see here, so initially let's say there is only one connection on the one flow, then you have flow 1 and 2 flows are there. Okay, then you have flow 1, 2 and 3. Okay, then say flow 2 stops and then you have 1 and 3. So the flows will not be the same at all times. So according to the number of active connections at a particular point of time, the bandwidth allocation has to be changed. That is why convergence of the congestion control algorithm, a fast convergence, is very much important. So as you can see here, initially only flow 1 is here. So only flow 1. So flow 1 is using 100% capacity. Then at time 1, flow 2 starts. So for flow 2, let me use the red color. So flow 2 is here. So when this is there, then flow 2 and flow 1 now will use 50%. So both are using 50% of the capacity. So flow 1 is using 50%, flow 2 is using 50%. Okay. Then at time 4, flow 3 starts. Okay. So flow 3 starts. So now there are three different flows, 1, 2, and 3. But flow 3 is using, say, only 20% of its 20% of the bandwidth. So the rest is being shared. That is, remaining is 80%. 80%. So C is flow 3 is using this. So remaining 80% is shared between 1 and 2. So 1 is getting 40 and 2 is getting 40%. So you can see 40% here. Okay. Then at time 9, flow 2 stops. Flow 2 is over. Flow 2 stops. So flow 2 was getting 40%. So this 40% has stopped. So all this remain, this 40% now will go back to 1 because flow 3 is still using 2, 20% only. It is utilizing only this much. Okay, it is not that it has been allocated 20%, it is using only 20%. So you can see when flow 2 stops, flow 1 gets back the share of flow 2 and it is now running at 80%. So what we want to show by this is that your allocation, bandwidth allocation will also change over time. So convergence of the congestion control algorithm is very important. Now, in the earlier videos when we were talking about flow control, we saw that the sending window or the sending rate was being regulated. And now also I'm saying that for congestion control also we have to control the sending rate. So sending rate we control because of flow control, and sending rate we will control also because of congestion control. So the congestion control and flow control are two different things. If you just look at this diagram, you see this is a source which is sending water through a pipe. Okay, transmission is here, but at the receiver, what you have a small bucket. So what happens if the sender is sending sending data at a particular rate, and the capacity of this bucket is less, then water will overflow at this point. So this is your flow control, because there is no bottleneck in the network. In the transmission network, that is the pipe, there is no bottleneck here. It is open, it is free. Now, if you look at the second scenario, here also you have sender and a receiver. Here the receiver has a big bucket. Okay, but in between you can see there is this portion of the pipe which is constricted. So it is not that the sending rate is high. There is loss of packets. Here also there was loss of packets. Okay, because this was small, receiver capacity was small. Here also there will be a loss of packet. Loss of packets where? Here at this point. Okay, because if this is sending at a particular rate, then it cannot flow, this data cannot flow through this constricted pipe. So it will overflow from this point, from the funnel, this end of the funnel. Overflow will not be here. So because of this, now because of constriction in the transmission network, that is why you are having packet loss. So this is your congestion. This is the congestion. And for both of this, how can we solve it? We can solve it by regulating the tap out here. How much water? I have to slow down the flow of water. So, what happens? We have, so as I said, the congestion is detected at the network layer. So the network layer will send some signals to the transport entities, okay, indicating that there is congestion, and they need to slow down the sending rate. So when the transport entities receive this congestion signal from the network layer, it slows down the sending rate. Now, if there is no congestion, the transport entities will keep on increasing the sending rate, because it has to find out what is the optimum. Okay, so so that it can steadily send at that rate. Okay, but if there is no congestion signal, then the transport entities will keep on increasing the sending rate at a particular order. Okay, now this increase or decrease, how much to increase and how much to decrease? Okay, because if there is congestion, then decrease. If there is no congestion, then increase. Okay, so how much to increase and how much to decrease? This is set as per a particular law, the control law, which indicates how much to increase and how much to decrease. So the control law that is used is your additive increase, multiplicative decrease. Additive increase, multiplicative decrease. So you see, if WT is the sending rate at time t, I think I made a mistake here. Yeah, no, it's okay. I think it should have been t plus 1, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Uh, yeah, this should be wt plus 1. So wt is the sending rate at time t. Then at the next point of time, wt plus 1, if there is no congestion, then I'm going to increase by a factor of a. And if there is a congestion, then I'm going to decrease it by multiplying it with a multiplicative decrease factor b. Okay, so when I'm going to increase, I'm going to add something to it. So if my capacity was 2 and there is no congestion, I'm going to increase by, say, a is equal to 3. I'm going to increase by 3, so I get 5. Again, next time, no congestion, so I'll increase by 3. So I get 8. Now next, at this point, I get that there is a congestion. So I'm going to decrease it by, say, 0.2. So I'll say 0. Something. Okay. So it will decrease it like this. Okay. So this is called the additive increase and multiplicative decrease. So this we can understand from this particular diagram. If you see here, you see these are two users, user 1's bandwidth, user 2's bandwidth. Okay, and then there are two lines out here. One is this dashed line, okay, which is called the fairness line. Fairness line because here at any point both users are getting equal allocation. And on this side you have the efficiency line. This is called the efficiency line. So the efficiency line shows that what could be an efficient allocation for both the bandwidth. And these two lines, they meet at this point, which is called the optimal point. Optimal point because it is efficient as well as fair. So this particular allocation for user 1 and user 2's bandwidth says that it is optimal. This is the optimal. So now let's say the allocation point is here. Okay. Then what you're going to do? You're going to increase. So you're going to increase additively. So say it goes like this. It goes to a point here. All right. Now, if I had used, say, this additive increase, additive decrease. Okay, I'm going to add and subtract. So Wt plus 1 would be equal to Wt plus A if there is no congestion, and Wt minus A if there is congestion. So here, if there is, it is going to move like this. So if I increase, it will go from here to here. Okay. And if I decrease from here, it will go by the same amount. It will come back here. So it is going to move between these 2 points. If I increase, it will go here. If I decrease, it will come here. If I increase, it will go here. If I decrease, it will come here. So it is going to oscillate between these 2 points, and it is never going to converge to this optimal point. What we want is convergence. But if we use additive increase, additive decrease, this is not going to work. Okay. So what about using multiplicative increase, multiplicative decrease? Okay. So you get the picture. It is Wt plus 1. If there is no congestion, then it will be multiplied by A. If there is congestion, then it will be divided by A. Multiplicative increase, multiplicative decrease. Okay. So in that case, you see here, it will be a much higher speed. The slope would be much higher here. This is the point, let's say. So if I'm doing a multiplicative increase, it goes here. And again, I'm dividing by the same, it remains the same, so it comes back here. Okay. So multiplicative increase, multiplicative decrease does not converge to this optimal point. So neither of these two schemes does not converge to the optimal point. So why I have talked about MIAD and MIMD, because we saw that both of these will fail. So what we have to do? We have to use our additive increase, and multiplicative decrease. Let's see whether it converges or not. Okay. So same diagram. So here I have the point where congestion occurs. Okay. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to increase additively. So it moves at the slope. Then decrease I'm going to do. Decrease would be multiplicative decrease. So here I have, it has, you can see the slope is quite high here when we are decreasing. Okay, again I'm increasing, so again the slope is at a 45 degree. When I'm decreasing, again it is at a higher slope. Again I'm increasing, 45 degree slope. Again I'm decreasing, lower slope, and then it will continue like this till at some point it is going to converge to the optimal point. So AIMD control law, when we use AIMD control law, then our allocation can converge to this optimal point, which is the optimal in terms of efficiency and in terms of fairness. So once we get that, the AIMD and the sliding window size can be adjusted to bring about this for regulating the change, the sending rate. The sending rate can be lowered down by adjusting the sending window size. Okay, so there it will reduce the flow that is happening. So in these slides we have talked about, in this video we have talked about some ways of implementing congestion control, and we will see how congestion control is implemented in details in TCP in a later video. Thank you.